What happens when pride and cruelty collide with quiet genius? In the heart of Willow Creek's bustling summer market, where artisans poured their souls into their craft, one woman's venomous words sparked a firestorm that no one saw coming. Karen Whitaker, a self-proclaimed art critic with a penchant for loud complaints, strutted through the stalls, her voice cutting through the warm evening air like a blade. Her target? A humble woodcarver named Elias, whose intricate figurines had drawn whispers of awe from the crowd. Karen's eyes locked onto Elias's booth, where delicate wooden animals, foxes with flowing tails, owls with piercing gazes stood proudly on display. She sneered, her manicured finger jabbing at a carving of a deer. "This is shoddy work. Look at these uneven lines. You call this art?" Her voice boomed, drawing curious glances. Elias, a soft-spoken man in his 50s with calloused hands and kind eyes, flinched but held his ground. "Ma'am, each piece is handcrafted. They're unique, not mass-produced," he said calmly. Karen scoffed, tossing her hair. "Unique? More like amateur. I'll take this one, but you'd better knock off half the price for this garbage." The crowd murmured, some nodding in agreement, others shifting uncomfortably. Elias's jaw tightened, but he agreed to her demand, wrapping the deer in paper with trembling hands. As Karen sauntered away, smug with her bargain, Elias's apprentice, a young woman named Mia, stepped out from behind the booth. Her eyes blazed with indignation. "Why'd you let her talk to you like that?" she whispered fiercely. Elias sighed, his gaze distant. "Some battles aren't won with words, Mia. Let her have her moment." But Mia wasn't convinced. She'd seen Karen's type before, people who thrived on belittling others to feel powerful, and she wasn't about to let it slide. The truth about Karen's outburst began to unravel later that evening, as whispers spread through the market. Karen wasn't just a loudmouth. She was a local influencer, known for her scathing online reviews that could make or break small businesses. Her blog, Karen's Corner, was a shrine to her ego, filled with rants about subpar artisans and businesses that didn't bow to her demands. Elias, it turned out, wasn't her first victim. She'd haggled and humiliated vendors across town, from bakers to jewelers, leaving a trail of shattered confidence in her wake. But what Karen didn't know was that Elias wasn't just any carver. He was a retired sculptor whose works had once graced galleries in New York and Paris, now crafting for the love of it in his quiet hometown. And Mia? She was no ordinary apprentice. She was a tech-savvy artist with a knack for turning the tables. The next morning, Karen returned to the market, flanked by her entourage of loyal followers, all eager to see her expose more frauds. She clutched the deer carving, now unwrapped, and marched to Elias's booth. "This thing is worse than I thought," she declared, holding it aloft like a trophy of her righteousness. "The paint's chipping already, and it's practically falling apart." The crowd gasped, and Karen's friends nodded, their phones out, ready to amplify her tirade online. But Elias remained calm, his eyes glinting with something new resolve. "Ma'am, I'd be happy to replace it," he said, his voice steady. "Pick any piece you like, free of charge." Karen, sensing another victory, grabbed a larger carving, a majestic wolf with intricate fur details, and smirked. "This better not be another dud." But here's where the twist came. Unbeknownst to Karen, Mia had spent the night digging into her online history. She'd found a pattern. Karen would haggle aggressively, demand discounts, and then trash the vendor online, claiming their work was faulty. Mia shared her findings with Elias, who nodded thoughtfully. "Let's give her what she wants," he'd said, "but on our terms." The wolf carving Karen now held wasn't just any piece, it was a deliberate dud, crafted to look stunning but designed to crumble under scrutiny. Elias had spent hours ensuring its flaws were subtle but undeniable: a weak glue joint, a brittle base, and a finish that would smudge with the slightest touch. The confrontation came that afternoon, under the market's main tent, where a crowd had gathered for the festival's artisan showcase. Karen, emboldened by her followers, decided to make a spectacle. She stormed to the stage, holding the wolf carving high. "This man is a fraud," she shouted, pointing at Elias, who stood quietly at his booth. "His work is trash, and I'm here to prove it." She slammed the wolf onto the table, expecting it to hold firm for her dramatic reveal. Instead, its shattered legs snapping, paint smearing, the head rolling comically across the stage. The crowd gasped, then fell silent. Karen's face flushed crimson as her friends exchanged uneasy glances. "See," she stammered, trying to recover. "It's junk." But then Mia stepped forward, her voice clear and cutting. "Or maybe you got exactly what you paid for, Karen." She held up her phone, displaying screenshots of Karen's blog posts, dozens of vicious reviews, each targeting a small business. "You bully vendors into discounts, then ruin them online. Elias gave you a dud because you demanded one. You wanted to humiliate him, but you only humiliated yourself." The crowd erupted in murmurs, some clapping, others whispering. A new face emerged from the audience, an older woman named Clara, a retired journalist who'd been watching silently. "I've seen your type, Karen," Clara said, her voice sharp. "My daughter's bakery closed because of your lies. You don't critique, you destroy." Karen's bravado crumbled. Her friends, once eager to film her triumph, lowered their phones, their laughter turning to awkward silence. The crowd's mood shifted, their sympathies swinging to Elias, who stood quietly, letting the truth speak for itself. Karen tried to retort, but her words faltered under the weight of the evidence. Mia projected more screenshots onto a nearby screen, comments from other vendors, stories of Karen's cruelty, even a petition to ban her from the market. The wolf's wreckage lay at her feet, a perfect metaphor for her unraveling reputation. As the sun set over Willow Creek, Karen slunk away, her entourage trailing behind, no longer laughing. Elias, meanwhile, was swarmed with supporters. Customers who'd hesitated before now lined up to buy his carvings, their admiration deepened by his quiet strength. Mia, grinning, handed him a cup of coffee. "Told you we'd get her," she said. Elias chuckled, shaking his head. "It wasn't about getting her, Mia. It was about showing who we are." The market buzzed with new energy, vendors sharing stories of their own run-ins with Karen, their voices filled with relief and camaraderie. In the end, Elias's booth sold out, his carvings finding homes with people who valued his craft and his heart. Karen's blog, once a weapon, lost its sting as her followers dwindled, her credibility shattered like the wolf she'd so proudly broken. The market became a symbol of resilience, a place where artisans stood together against cruelty. Elias, ever humble, donated his earnings to a local art program, ensuring others could create without fear. What do you think? Did Karen deserve her downfall? Or was there another way to handle her cruelty? Share your thoughts on where the line lies between justice and revenge.